All right, Pouring Nation, I have a problem. My hardener for my resin has yellowed quite a bit. You don't really notice it like this, but it definitely has yellowed quite a bit when you kind of put it down there. And being a frugal person, I don't want to throw it out. So with resins like this, generally once you open it up and it gets exposed to oxygen, the liquid is gradually going to start yellowing. They say it'll last 6 months, depending on how it's stored, whether it's stored in direct sunlight or not. This has probably been 1.5 years, so obviously it yellowed. But I don't want to waste it. I'm too frugal for that. So you have a couple of options. One, you can use it just like this, just on a pour, and you'll get a little bit of yellow sheen over that. So obviously if you have a pour that has a lot of white that you don't want to yellow, you wouldn't want to do that. But if you have a darker pour that doesn't have a lot of white or has a lot of yellow already, it may enhance that. And you got to realize that it looks really yellow here, but again, that's 2 inches deep. Once I mix it with this, and then it's only 1/8 of an inch deep, you're not going to see that much yellow. It's going to be very slightly yellow, and I'll show you that when I mix it up. Another option you have is to get something like these mica powders that I got off of Amazon, and I'll put a link in the description below. And then you can just color it, and then use it to, maybe not on your art, but on something else where you want colored resin, you can use it there, and then it just overpowers the yellow. I don't know if you guys have ever seen those commercials with the purple toothpaste, and they brush it on the yellow teeth, and it turns out white, because purple cancels out yellow, or purple is essentially exactly opposite of the yellow on the color chart. However, in this case, it's not going to cancel it out, but what it can do is turn into like a light gray if I do it in the right proportions, and therefore I can use this, a light gray, or a little bit, wouldn't look bad on either of these, or I might tint it with again, purple. I might tint it a little bit more purple, so it's slightly purple, so it gives these a purple tint. They already have purple in them. I think that would look great. So that's what we're going to try doing today. Now, I've already actually done this, did some testing with this, and I know it's kind of hard to see there, but this is slightly pink. And I used a purple paint, not a purple pigment to do this, but you can see it's not yellow. I mean, if I just compare these side by side, a little bit of purple paint really lightened it up, and it's not yellow, and again, it's much less thick here, so it looks way better. And I thought that looked great, but it was too pink. And I only used a little bit. That was just my test. So that's what we're going to do. And for those of you that don't know me, my name's David. I am the left-brained artist, and by day I am actually a computer programmer. Or I work in computers. I don't do a lot of programming anymore. And art always seemed like it was too hard and that I wasn't good at it. But I've come to find out that with systems and processes and just using my left brain, kind of system-oriented brain, I found that I can create amazing art. It really helps with troubleshooting my art. So if that's the type of information you're looking for, this is the channel for you, and subscribe for additional videos that I have in the future. But right now, let's get to this experiment. All right, so I am going to use this to mix my resin in, and this type of resin is a 1 part to 1 part, and I have exactly the same from when I did it before. But before I do that, we're gonna get my gloves. I normally hate wearing gloves because my hands are so big I ripped through them, but with resin, you gotta wear gloves. You gotta wear your protective gear. Another thing that I'm going to do is put on my mask. I apologize for the sound, but gotta have a mask when I'm doing this. So now I sound a little bit different. I apologize for that, but you gotta do what you gotta do. So again, like I mentioned, we're gonna use all of this. Just gonna open these at the same time. The hardener is gonna come out way slower than the resin's gonna come out way slower than my hardener. And then we're just going to mix slowly for 5 minutes. As you can see, as you're starting to mix, you can see it's quite yellow. Again, we have a lot of depth in there, and it's starting to get cloudy. That's just what happens with resin. So I'm going to speed this up, and we'll come back once this is all mixed. You can see now it's getting way more clear, no more cloudiness. But I still got a couple minutes to go. All right, so here we are. You can see my blue. Oh, let's do this. That way you can see the yellow better. But it's there. It's got a lot of bubbles because I mixed kind of quickly and it's kind of cold in here. So, but I'll torch them out once I put them down. So this is what we're going to start with. And what I'm going to do is take this mica purple, and we're just going to put a little bit in here and stir and see what happens here. I say a little bit, I mean a little tiny bit. And I'm going to put some pictures up just to compare. That's the first time. Still think it needs a little bit more. And again, my expectation is that I'm going to kind of get a gray color that is not yellow. And honestly, I already see that. Wow, that is actually better than I hoped for. All right, so let me show you. Look, it doesn't look like yellow at all anymore. Look at that. I am kind of surprised by that. Just to show you, you can see the lid of this. Look how much yellow that had. Look how dark that yellow was. That's about how the color that this, half of this liquid, because half of this is the clear resin, was. That's actually amazing. I'm actually really excited for this. It does have a little bit of a pink tint to it, which again, like I mentioned before, it'll work with the purple and the red here. That's not going to hurt anything, but it's way less yellow, not even yellow at all. You can't really tell. And now we're just going to resin these like we normally would. Let me see how much I have here. I have about 400. So I'm going to use about 200 each. Now normally you're supposed to take this, put it into a different cup, because you might have on the edges a little bit of resin, a little bit of hardener that hasn't mixed, or even on the stick. I am not going to worry about that. I'm giving these pieces to some friends. They're not going to worry about it. And, it's an experiment. If they don't work, it doesn't work. I will tell you, though, that I did take Olga Sobi's course on resin. Loved it. Have used it with some of my other pieces, and I'll probably do a video review of it. If not, you can use my link. You'll get a discount, and really, really enjoyed that course. Honestly, this is definitely more than I need for either of these, so I might get another little picture out and do it once we're done. Like I said, it's winter here in Salt Lake City, a little bit cold, so this isn't moving very well, which is all right. I mean, it's 70 degrees in my house. I'm not too worried about that. We're just going to get the major movement with the stick. But look at this. You can't see any yellow there. This has a little bit more gold in it, so it would be hard to tell, but this is just white. There's no gold here. You can't tell that that was yellow before, which is exactly what I wanted. And again, one thing I learned from Olga's course is that you can take a light and really see the imperfections. So let me finish this up. We will come back when they're all dry and check the finished results. But overall, again, this is white. This is not yellow. I see no tones of yellow. I think this worked. Man, I love resin finishes. You can kind of see the metallic blue and red there. Look how they jump out with the glass-like finish. And also, there's no yellow here. This is all white. You can see the the gold that was in this one, but you still have white also, and this really just looks white. And just to show, I actually poured some of the yellow only, and I'm going to turn my ISO on the camera down just slightly. This is the yellowed resin, and these are some of the leftover scraps that I grabbed from underneath, like right here. So grabbed from underneath, and just to show you the difference in color from adding that little tiny bit of pigment, makes this not yellow. It has a tiny bit of a purple, but that works great with both of these. So there's no reason to throw out yellowed resin unless it's really gone bad. But if you want to see how I created these pieces of art, that is in this video here.